and they all lived happily ever after.
I'm not a millionaire. I'm just trying to be honest with you. In fact, in all honesty, I am in a little debt.
What? What debt?
I'm joking!
Awesome! Welcome to part 3 of my Anfisa and George rewatch videos. In part 2, George and Anfisa got married within their 90 days. And that was even after Anfisa admitted to George that she was really only with him for his money. She did also seem to show that she does have some feelings for him, or at least wants him to believe that. But as we return to their story, everything is about to change. As they get ready for Anfisa's green card interview, George starts to really worry that Anfisa might actually take off after she gets her green card.
She threatens to leave me every day, but so far she hasn't done it.
I hate being married to George.
And we're off to a good start.
I mean, that's a reasonable thing to wonder at this point. And it seems like because of this, and I think also because of their more recent blowout fight, you know, when she keyed the shit out of his car, he starts to again make her more empty promises. Because that just fixes everything, doesn't it? He's back to trying to overcompensate by telling her that he can again afford things that he can't afford. Like this giant house. And is that blood?
Hi George, hi Anfisa. Well, welcome to your mini chateau. This home is 5-bedroom, 5-bath.
According to Anfisa, this house is up to her standards. It definitely makes a statement, but the question is, and always is, can George afford it?
The monthly payment on this home is $7,800.
That look immediately says to me, no.
I just think that it's a little out of the budget.
I'm sure the producers had this grand idea of having them look at a house that they can't afford, because this large, out-of-budget house is a great segue into George admitting that he has yet another secret he's been keeping from Anfisa.
There's something I haven't told Anfisa about my financial situation, and I'm really worried, because I have a feeling that she's going to be really mad.
He had already previously hid the fact that he has a felony, but since this secret includes the word finances, Anfisa will probably be a bit more angry about this one.
Who would want to date a broke man, really? Let's be honest.
So we find out a few things after George says this. First, we see Anfisa meet up with her friend Miranda, which ironically is the same girl that supposedly sold George a ring in that scene from my part 2 video. I say supposedly because there's no ring on Anfisa's finger, and yet Anfisa knows that Miranda works at the ring store George went to.
Miranda works at a jewelry store where George came to pick up a ring for me, and we became friends.
Watching all of their footage at once without other stories in between makes the continuation in their story a little strange. She says she knows about the ring buying scene, basically, yet George was going to surprise propose to her, and then didn't. So was all of that just staged then? How and why did she meet Miranda? Because again, there's no ring and there was no proposal and they're now married. How did she meet the person at the ring shop? I can say now though that the ring buying scene being fake makes sense, along with George constantly saying he will buy stuff and then not buying anything, because all of it fits into the lie that George is about to come clean about.
Aren't you a millionaire?
No,
What do you mean, no? That's what you told me.
I'm not a millionaire. I'm just trying to be honest with you. In fact, in all honesty, I am in a little debt.
So this answers a lot of questions, doesn't it? We have multiple ring buying scenes, a house tour scene, a wedding dress shopping scene, but we have not seen any big purchases. George had been stringing Anfisa along, even after she said she cared about money more than him. He lied to her all the way to the altar. And now looking back, thinking about it, he didn't really lie to the audience. He said that he made 6 figures. He did not say he was a millionaire yet, but could be in the future. But he told her that he was a millionaire before she got here and after she got here. And now that they're married, he's telling her the truth, I guess. And of course, the shittiest part about this is that he said he had this problem before Anfisa even got here.
It's just some accounts that I fell short on before getting married with Anfisa.
He can't blame all of his money troubles on her. He was broke before she even landed from Russia. But he seemed to be wearing these like rose-colored glasses that made him believe she could look past the part where he doesn't have any money. Like any glimmer of hope he got that she could love him without it was his justification to keep lying to her. Or he thought maybe he could fix his financial situation and solve all of this, but that didn't happen. I think we have had one scene where Anfisa said out loud that she would still be with George if he didn't have money.
I lose everything, go broke. Like, would you still love me?
Of course.
But it was in between her still saying she only loved him for money. Just him hearing that once, though, was enough to continue the lying, and he just ran with it. He brought her here because he is shallow, and she was a gold digger. And now he expected her to stay when the gold doesn't exist. What if she pulled a mask off and then was the crypt keeper underneath? Would he still be trying to make this work? I remember thinking up until this point during my first watches of their story that I saw Anfisa as the villain mostly in this situation. And I expected this to be the final straw for her. She wanted money, but then she got debt.
I didn't know that he's really in debt. It just means that he's been lying to me the entire time, and I feel like I can't trust him anymore.
So what insane behavior would we see from her this time? But during this rewatch, I feel a bit more empathy towards her. She was very misled and lied to until George married her. And that sucks. And now that they're married, it's all coming out. So at first, George tries to place the blame on Anfisa.
Decided to screw up a lot of things of my business to go and be with you.
You're still lying.
He spent a lot of money on her. She spends his money. So why shouldn't she take responsibility of his debt?
If you really truly love somebody, no matter poor or rich, you're gonna love them regardless.
But she doesn't agree. And when she gets up and leaves, I was like, okay, another drive-away airport scene is about to commence. But instead, they actually go to a lawyer to talk about a postnuptial agreement. Her idea is to protect herself from George's debt, but then says she still wants a part of his business, even when she finds out it's worth less than a quarter of what she thought it was worth.
Sold them 150,000. Maybe there is something else that I don't know yet.
Of course, not being on the same page about this makes this whole meeting crash and burn very fast.
Renee, the chicken lady, wants to remind you to subscribe to the kiblz channel. If you don't, she will rain her horde of 135 chickens on you.
Let that chicken live.
Basically, could we write in there, say marriage after 5 years, it becomes 50-50?
Yeah, no.
And if you were to ask me right now, whose side am I on? Am I annoyed for Anfisa that she was lied to and got married under false pretenses? Yes, George lied. There's no doubt about that. But from the other side, she knew that George was lying before she married him. And I think that she had many chances to leave and did not. So I don't feel like she's fully a victim in this situation either.
I don't know if I want to be married to a liar.
She doesn't want to take on debt, but then yet spends my money.
So what?
She's been honest, but also has been controlling and crazy during their fights. And I really can't say she's fully in the right after this next scene.
I think you're too immature to know this.
Holy crap. Rewatching that, it still came out of nowhere. And that should have been it. Their marriage should have ended right then and there.
I don't feel bad after I hit him. He deserved it.
Her punching me is childish and immature.
I mean, you are in a lawyer's office, go down the hall and get the divorce papers going. And as much as George is awful, he should not get hit over it. And this continues to completely decline afterwards. George knows that Anfisa's green card interview is in just a few days. So he panics and tries to meet with the lawyers again, and he sneaks off to try to do that.
I told her I was gonna get something out of the garage, and I didn't go back inside the house.
Where are you? I told you I was hungry.
Oh, I'll get you some food right now.
He says that Anfisa doesn't know where he went, but I think she has an idea. I mean, she has his location on his phone. So if he had disappeared and then tried to turn that off, she knows he's up to something.
What's the problem?
You were going out and you're coming back. Stop it!
Yikes. He should have just turned off his phone and gone inside. If this was truly like step one into getting a divorce and protecting his assets, whatever the heck those are at this point, he should have just gone and done it instead of going back. This would have been the time to ignore her and go get this done. Because not long after he goes back, like she wants, he walks out with a suitcase anyways. Another suitcase roll of shame.
All of my stuff is packed. It's near the door.
Well, now is a good chance to meet with a lawyer like originally planned, right? But after staying the night at a hotel, George does not go to a lawyer.
At the end of the day, she's still my wife, and I really need to try and make things better.
Instead, he just starts to feel bad for not telling Anfisa where he went. And I hope also feels bad about lying about being a millionaire. So he goes and gets flowers to bring her to say he's sorry. Like, what? I can see him feeling guilty about lying about his debts, obviously, but this would be the time to be done. This toxic relationship needs to end. And of course it doesn't. And on part 4, we see Anfisa go through her green card interview and yell at George some more. That video will be posted on my next posting day. I will put the part 4 posting date in a pinned comment on this video. If you are watching this later and part 4 is already posted, the link will be included in the description below. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!
You